Daybreak over Chichester Harbour. A fishing boat sets out towards the harbour mouth, and it promises to be another fine spring day. On the west side of the island, the early mist clears, and the locals get out and about to enjoy the best part of a bright new morning. On a day like this, the quality of light can be quite magical, and the view across the water of Langstone Harbour has an almost Mediterranean feel. Hayling really does look its best at this time of the year, with the blossom and bright new foliage. The marshes are at their most lush, and there are masses of wildflowers everywhere. The fields look lovely too, but apparently buttercups don't agree with horses, so they're none too popular with either horses or owners. Not a lot of people know that. Hayling used to be a patchwork of small fields and tree-lined lanes, but these are now under constant threat from development and the regular felling of mature trees. Now many more appear to be diseased. The Hayling Friends of the Trees have planted many on the island over the years. This row on the old Pycroft brickfields was planted in the 70s. In rural areas, horses once played a major role in the life of the community. However, there are probably as many horses on Hayling today as there ever were, although they're now kept largely for recreational purposes. It's interesting to note that at the local level at least, it's generally the ladies who are involved in riding. Is it the amount of loving care and effort which is needed on a daily basis that puts the boys off, I wonder? Or is it just not macho enough? It's certainly very demanding. If you're lucky enough to get a ride, you can sometimes relive the times when our roads were a lot less busy, but probably a lot bumpier than they are today. The Pony Club is very active on the island, organising training and events. Senior instructor Anne Spencer-Harbert, herself a former junior international, takes a class in the Sand School at Clayfields in West Lane.
Good circle, and we'll continue on and ride another from the same point. That's good. Watch the point just past H. Much better. Good girl. Find his own space. Toes in a bit. Her leg forward. Don't lean on his neck. Good girl. Okay, keep your shoulders square to him as you come round the corner. That's good. And I think we're prepared to go large now. Well done, large.
And after exercise, untack, brush down, and some of that tender, loving care we spoke of earlier.
Oh yeah, get your results. Good luck.
The freeze mark registration number on the horse's back is, sadly, a necessary safeguard against theft these days. Close by West Lane, we have the Hayling Billy Trail with its separate bridleway and cycle track, providing a wonderful green route between West Town and North Hayling for riders, cyclists and walkers. This provision by Hampshire County Council has made splendid use of the track for the former Hayling Light Railway and proved a great success since it was opened a few years ago. The original line was built in the 1880s and sadly, following the Beeching Review, was closed in 1963. The view across the harbour must have been glorious as you crossed the bridge and steamed along the shore to South Hayling. OK, hands up, this isn't the original, although it is the actual Hayling Billy locomotive, now back in service on the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. We couldn't resist the chance to go over and try it out, for old time's sake. After all, there's nothing quite like the fascination of steam for men and small boys, what with all those interesting jobs to watch, taking on water, stoking the boiler, letting off steam.
I want to get one of those sort of, you know where you go around the bend here, I thought, all right.
And I'm sure we all wish we could still board the Hayling Billy to Havant, especially as we crawl along the Havant Road in the rush hour. However, the sad loss of the railway has been turned into a tremendous bonus by the sterling efforts of the members and management of the Hayling Island Amateur Dramatic Society, with the creation of the Station Theatre. Unveiling of the players' statue. The old railway goods shed has been converted into a modern 144-seat theatre with raked auditorium, excellent backstage facilities, foyer and bar, plus state-of-the-art sound and projection equipment. The project was started in 1992 with money raised locally, including a substantial donation from Hampshire County Council, and the building is leased at an annual peppercorn rent from Havant Borough Council. Reconstruction was completed in 1996 at a cost of over £400,000, half from the local area, plus major grants from the Foundation for Sport and Arts and the Arts Council through the National Lottery. The theatre now has a regular programme of plays, musical shows, cabaret, and the first presentation of feature films shown on the island for 35 years.
I am the fondant of the sea, and when I married thee, I be true to the devotion that my loving aunt.
Say goodbye to your sisters and your cousins and your aunts, especially your cousins whom you reckon up by dozens. Goodbye to your sisters and your cousins and your aunts, especially your cousins whom you reckon up by dozens and your aunts. For he is an English
From words and music to exercise with music, Lillian Fine, Hayling's own doyenne of the fitness movement, arrives at the Activities Centre to take one of her regular classes.
Yes, there have been lots of teachers before me, but not many that took a training course at 62. I was invited to do that because I'd done a good many classes. I had been a member of several classes, and I'd been, because I was so keen and loved it all, I was in demonstrations, and I was at the Albert Hall with demonstrations, and I loved to do it. And then they suggested, it was suggested, that I took a teacher training course because more older people were coming in to keep fit and exercises. So 18 years I've been teaching, all grades, all ages, all sizes. We have a wonderful time because they like the type of things I do, because they can do it. It's not beyond them. It's not a lot of jogging about. It doesn't hurt the joints. It's just pleasant music and pleasant movement and pleasant people.
From one remarkable lady to another, real tennis champion Alex Garside discusses her future plans with Peter Dawes, the senior professional at Seacourt Tennis Club.
Seacourt prides itself on being the only club in the world who have all 5 racket sports, and although we are successful at different levels at all of them, the most successful one by far is the real tennis. Alex Garside, who is the current British Ladies Open Doubles champion and only just lost very narrowly in the final of the World Ladies Doubles Championships, is the biggest success that we actually have. In the past, she has also been the British Ladies Open Singles champion and has won all the 4 international ladies doubles titles as well. In spite of having a young family and holding down a full-time job, Alex is practicing very hard, so I'm sure in the very near future we shall be seeing her winning many more titles, both nationally and internationally. We've been particularly successful on the real tennis front with the junior players. At the moment we have 4 players who are ranked nationally at the top of their age group. The most successful one is Bryn Sayers, who is the current national under-14 champion. At this year's National Championships, Seacourt were very successful in all 4 age groups, with John Evans being the losing finalist in the under-18s, Adam Player being the losing finalist in the under-16s, Bryn Sayers winning the under-14s. Tom Weaver, who is only 12, with Bryn Sayers paired up to be the national under-14 champions. So we had a very successful season.
Hayling's fine links golf course was established in the last century and celebrated its centenary in 1983. It occupies a unique position at the southwest end of the island, close to the beach with panoramic views of the Solent. Its beautifully kept greens and fairways making the course an attractive venue for any keen golfer. The upkeep of the links is under the watchful eye of Ronan McEwen, the head greenkeeper, here playing with club member Paul Lucas. The club's oldest and most famous member is Ian Patey, a former international player in the 1950s and English amateur champion in 1948. This amazing man is now 90 years old and still playing. What is it about Hayling? Clearly there must be something in the sea air that breeds and attracts high-achieving sportspeople. A few more of note, and I'm sure we've missed just as many others. Powerboat champion Scott Hodges. Heather McClelland, former European sprint champion, double Olympian and Olympic silver medalist. Malcolm Cooper, European, World, Commonwealth and Olympic shooting gold medalist. Sarah Cooper, British, Nordic, European and Commonwealth Games shooting champion and 1984 Olympian. Roger Midgley, hockey international and Olympic bronze medalist. And members of Hayling Island Sailing Club who've won major international honours. Another famous islander is the late Alexander McKee, naval historian and marine archaeologist, whose painstaking research led to the discovery and eventual raising of the wreck of the Tudor warship, the Mary Rose. Initially, many of his first diving expeditions took place from Langstone Harbour, together with members of the South Sea Sub-Aqua Club. An interesting postscript to this story is a chance find made by an islander during the spring of 1998. Early one morning, while walking his dog along the shoreline, he spotted a small pewter measuring jug half covered by the sand. This is now in a private collection. It's since been identified as of the Tudor period and could well be from the Mary Rose. What a nice surprise. This area of the beach is a great favourite with windsurfers, which makes another first for Hayling Island. It's on record that the first trials in this sport were made by Peter Chilvers on Menjum Creek in 1958, though no doubt it's developed a lot since then. Another local windsurfer, Keith Russell, recently set a new record for the circumnavigation of Britain. Something else we sometimes fail to appreciate is the convenience of everyday life on Hayling. Within a short distance from this beach, we can get most of the things we need to live, from the cradle to the grave.
Morning.
Morning, can I have some sea bass for two, please?
Yes, certainly. Would you like it filtered at all? There we go. That's 572 then, please.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Food, furnishings, fabrics, clothes, books, hardware, stationery and plants. We can get the car fixed, have our shoes repaired, see the doctor, the dentist or the optician, collect our prescriptions, go to church, make our final journey and read all about it in our own local paper. All close at hand in the two main shopping centres at Menjum and West Town. This is Wilbert, and he finds all this attention just too tiring. Charlie, on the other hand, is a real sea dog and can't wait for Dave Taylor to cast off from Mill Rythe. We'll meet up with round-the-world adventurer Alan Priddy out in Chichester Harbour on a test run with crewman Steve Lloyd. He aims to break the record for the circumnavigation of the world in his boat, Spirit of Portsmouth.
The latest we're going to leave is Easter Sunday 2002, and we've chosen that date because it's probably going to take us that long to find the sponsorship and the money to do the trip successfully. If someone comes along with a nice big fat cheque, then we could leave that a little bit earlier, but it's more likely to be 2002. We're going to leave from Portsmouth as a send-off anyway, make our way down to Gibraltar, which is the official timing lines, and then we're going out through the Mediterranean to the Suez Canal, through the Suez and Red Sea, Indian Ocean, South China Seas to Japan, before making our way across the Pacific, back through the Panama Canal and back home. Quite a short route really, sounds simple, 23,800 miles. We planned all our trip on 50 days, and the world record is 76 days at the moment, but that equation hasn't even come into it. We reckon that we can actually do the trip in 50 days. We've actually got 3 teams of 3 people flying around the world ahead of us, and so when we get into a harbour, we're there for the minimum amount of time. We're actually allowing 1 hour per fuel stop, and that's to take on 1,500 litres fresh water and food and go. So it's going to be a manic 50 days, there's no doubt about that. It's definitely a feat of endurance.
doorway, we're big hands about over.
Yeah, we're making our way in, go down to the bottom place, turn around and come back out around the other side.
As they pull into Sparks Marina to drop the cameraman, we wish them every success when they set out in 18 months' time. The marina is a hive of activity as the season gets underway. Yachts are prepared for the water and all shapes and sizes of boat depart and arrive. Once upon a time, many inshore fishermen used Chichester Harbour, but they're now a vanishing breed. One of the few survivors, John Lee, ties up to take on fuel from marina manager Colin Gibson, while other assorted craft go about their daily business. At the southwestern tip of the island, it's always fun to take a trip across Langston Harbour mouth on the Hayling Ferry, which has provided a service to and from Eastney for generations now. It's a great boon for cyclists and a really pleasant way to make a leisurely day trip to Portsmouth. One dry, windy day in July, we hitched a lift in a small, very shaky helicopter for an exhilarating flight around the island. So, fasten your seatbelts and join us for the trip. Sandy Point and Hayling Island Sailing Club. The Lifeboat Station. The Nature Reserve and Sea Defences. Those boulders don't look quite so large from up here, do they? Southwood Road. Mensham Park. Seafront estate. Imagine that amount of open space being left in the centre of an estate today. Beachlands and Hayling Park. The Old Royal Hotel and the Crescent. The Common. Hayling Golf Club. The Golf Course and Sina Lake. Langston Harbour entrance. Our editor on his afternoon off. The ferry and ferryboat inn. The Kench. North Shore. It's a surprise to see how narrow the island is in places, just a few fields wide at the centre. The Hayling Billy Trail. The oyster beds. Langstone Bridge. Northney Marina and the Post House. Mill Rythe and the holiday camp. Tornabury Woods. My Lord's Pond. Mensham Creek and Mensham Sailing Club. Sparks Marina. Back at Sandy Point, some serious sport takes place at the Hayling Island Sailing Club. The club hosts many international events throughout the year and, because of its geographic similarity to Sydney and Cape Town, is the chosen training venue for teams from all parts of the world. Its unique position at the harbour entrance gives the option of racing either at sea or, when conditions are too unfavourable, within the harbour itself. The club itself can boast an impressive list of champions at all levels of the sport, and for 2 glorious weeks in July this year played host to around 250 boats and teams from 27 countries worldwide. They'd gathered at Hayling for the European Championships in the Europe class of single-handed dinghies. The sun shone, there was a good breeze, and everything was set fair for an exhilarating series of races by top-ranking international competitors. After a measured but purposeful start to the day's activities, things begin to hot up with the scramble to get afloat, and competitors launch their dinghies. A fleet of up to 200 boats work their way out of the harbour, preceded by a couple of dozen support and management boats, plus team coaches and jury boats. Quite an armada and an impressive feat of organisation. After several hours' competition, the fleet returns and the competitors crowd back onto the beach, sign in, wash down and discuss the day's action. More activity on the water and some men with a very serious purpose. The volunteer crews of the Royal National Lifeboat Service. Working closely with the Coast Guard, they give their time and risk their lives to help sailors in trouble in all weathers and at all hours of the day or night. They arrive at the station within 5 minutes of the pager call and will be seaborne in a further 5. Magnificent.
Dismasted yacht 2 miles south of Chichester Bar. Roger. Launch authorised, please page the crew. Thank you. The lifeboat station on Hayling Island was first established in 1865. We have a complement of 24 crew divided into 3 watches of 8. 5 boat crew and 3 on the shore crew, which of course includes a tractor driver for each of the 2 boats. No. Into the baby grow.
Somebody's on the telephone now.
Pull on the dry suit. Fasten the life jacket. On with the helmet, and they are ready to go. During the course of a year, we would expect to be called out approximately 100 times. The calls range from small children and adults being cut off by the tide to yachts and powerboats in various forms of distress, ranging from dismastings to engine failure to perhaps even on fire, to people overdue and missing, perhaps expected back hours ago, and we're being launched to go and search in the 22 square miles of Chichester Harbour.
Hayling Tractor 1, this is Hayling Beachmaster, you're clear to launch. Hayling Tractor 2, Hayling Tractor 2, this is Beachmaster, prepare the D-boat for launching.
This all looks great fun at a public demonstration on a beautiful summer evening, but it's a very different matter on a dark and stormy night. Clearly, the lifeboat crews deserve our fullest support in providing the equipment and facilities they need to carry out their hazardous rescue work around the coast. They certainly provided one of the highlights of our look around Hayling Island, and a suitable finale to this personal record of the last summer of the century.